It's Christian here with Southern Roofing. We are on the Severin roof. Just kind of get a state of what's going on. The shingles are super brittle. We've got a couple wind-covered shingles on the front slope, so we're gonna replace this one today, make an attempt to. You can see a lot of mat coming through the shingles in different areas. There's some areas where there's basically no granules at all on here. So we're gonna go ahead and swap this out for diligence. We have got our ITIL certified driftwood shingle here. So right away, you can see the color is completely different. I mean, it's an available match. The original shingle's discontinued. So this shingle's kind of one color all the way across. And the roof is more of like a sunset. It's got reds and oranges in it. This is a really cold colored shingle. Tennessee all over, and especially Collierville, where we are, has very strict matching regulations. And this does not provide a uniform appearance at all. So that would be an immediate fail, but for diligence, we're gonna move on. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna unseal all of the shingles that we're gonna manipulate today. And we're gonna take our time with the shingle that we're replacing, even though it's coming out of the roof, because we wanna give the roof the best chance to not have further damage. We always unseal all the way down. If you don't, and you start to lift this to drive nails, what ends up happening is you'll get a real sharp crease here. We unseal all the way down, where we're gonna need to manipulate nails so the shingles have the best chance of being manipulated without creasing, cracking, or tearing. This roof is not sealed very well, which kind of explains why there would be wind damage. It's failing as a system. You can see granules kind of raining down. We don't need to go that high. We can see kind of granules raining down. You know, again, for diligence, we're gonna go ahead and very gingerly lift the shingle and make an attempt to get these nails out. So we're gonna start loosening them from the bottom, and then we're gonna pull them out from the top. That's gonna prevent what's called blow through, where the nails pull through the shingle and create a hole. Even though we're replacing this shingle again, we still wanna take it out in good faith to the best of our ability. It's 2 nails. 3. 4. And 5. We're gonna move up to our next row. Again, barely lift in the shingles at all. No further than we need to just kind of see where those fasteners are and get them out of the roof. So I believe this one did blow through because it's on the end. We still need to get that nail out. And these shingles are super brittle, so sometimes it's unavoidable. Looks like the nail head may be breaking off here. We got it. See what happened there. Not sure. All right. Grab our last couple nails out. So this one's blowing through. This shingle's just really brittle. And this one above it doesn't want to go up at all. And I'm fanning my fingers out on the back side of my hand. We do that instead of using our thumb, so the leverage is over an area instead of creating a spot where the shingle would tear on a thumb. So it looks like we may have missed one fastener. I think it's right here. Yep. All right. So we can go ahead and shimmy this out, and we're gonna check for layers first. So if you bring the camera in here, you can see that this is a 2-layer roof. So this is now like a mushy, like moldy material. It's got a stink to it. That's out of code for a reason. So the nails that we use are 1 1/4 inch, and they're made that way to go through shingle, underlayment, and decking. When you start adding extra layers of roof, there's more material for the nail to have to go through. The shingles don't meet their manufacturer specs. They don't have the wind rating, and they generally will just slide off the roof. Any instance in Collierville, any instance at all, where you have 2 layers and you're trying to do repair, you have to go down to bare decking. And as you know, that would require us to get under the underlayment, which would result in us, you know, basically needing a full roof replacement just based off of that, because we don't do repairs out of code, right? They've got to be in code. So also we've got mat transfer down here. So mat transfer is basically where the shingle tears itself, and you've got pieces of this shingle over here and pieces of this shingle over here and vice versa. I mean, there's some areas where the tearing is really, really bad on that mat transfer. And then the same thing here, you can see, especially in this area, where the back of this shingle up under here, I can actually feel it, is ripped off and is now stuck on this shingle. So we have mat transfer throughout, 2 layers, gross mismatch in color. We're gonna go ahead and set these next to each other and see if they are the same length. I'm gonna line you guys up and peek down here. Looks like we're off a little bit. I'm gonna scoot it down where it's lined up over here. And it looks like we have got, Sonic the Hedgehog dropping coins. It looks like we've got about a 1/2 inch of length disparity. We don't cut in an open field, especially with disparities that small. It's impossible to get through that shingle perfectly, and we're not going to be using sealant out here in an open field. So that's the main reason why you don't cut in an open field, for exposure issues that can cause leaks, right? In an open field, we're always using whole shingles and not aggregate shingles. So we're going to go ahead and slide this in here. I'm going to lift it up so we can clear that second layer. I have to get over top of those 3 tab that are under there. So we've got it lined up down here perfectly on our end, as tight as we can. And we have got an overlap here, like I said, of about 1/2 inch. So the mat transfer itself is going to prevent sealing of either of these shingles. But now we also have a length disparity, so the physical dimensions are off as well as the color. And you can see that in our ITEL report. Will you hand me the hammer? So you can see the shingle here. We've got it pressed very tightly to the left up against the other one. And when you come down here on the end, it is just far too long. It is too long. So this is the most talked about portion of the repair tests. Per manufacturer installation guidelines, the shingle must be lifted as high as I need to lift it to drive the nail flush. The sealant line is going to be somewhere up here, right? It's not on the edge of the shingle. It's a little bit higher than that. So if you look at the mag hatch, you can see that in order to drive the nail straight, I can't lift it this high. And I also can't drive the fastener at an angle. That's an improper repair immediately. The shingle's gonna fall off through that. That's why you get sliders from having nails driven incorrectly. So per manufacturer installation guidelines, I am going to lift this shingle as high as I need to drive the nail flush. And when you have a new shingle, they're like a noodle. They're so malleable. You can brush this all day. They have all of their pliability, which is an object's ability to bend without breaking. One nail there. We're gonna need one more here. Okay. Already starting to get some creasing immediately, and you can hear the granules raining down. I haven't even lifted this one very high yet, and you can see the dragon tooth is actually bubbling off the top up here and kind of over here as well, but that's bubbling up really bad up here. All these granules are just gonna fall out. So I'm gonna go ahead and drive that fastener in there. We're gonna need 2 more to get in code and make sure these shingles have the wind rating, even though we've got a failed repair. So now what we're experiencing is that lack of pliability. So instead of the shingle bending in a smooth curve, it's so hard, like a graham cracker, that it's picking the middle to bend. You wanna talk about angles of lift, this is nothing at all. So once you start getting into angle of lift conversation, you've already got creasing and bubbling of the dragon teeth. This is clearly not repairable. So for diligence, we're gonna go ahead and finish driving 2 more nails in. The top row. Shingle is super brittle. It is folding like directly in the half of the shingle. All right, we're gonna move on to our next nail line here. Right. And the shingles are so brittle that they're not laying back down on the roof. They're just sticking up in the air. And you can see now the crease that's been created in the middle of that shingle up there. I mean, and the nails are just blowing right through. They're so brittle. They're so brittle that the nails aren't even holding this. The new nails aren't even holding that old shingle down. They're just blowing right through. I'm gonna go ahead and just drive one more nail here to get this fastened. Okay, so basically what we've got going on is a gross mismatch in color. So the color is off in a matching area. The physical dimensions are off. We don't cut in an open field. We have mat transfer throughout, creaking, cracking. You've got creasing pretty much on all of our surrounding tabs now. So you can see creasing here. You can see it here, here. I mean, some of these areas are really, really bad. You know, this repair has clearly failed on this roof. It is my professional opinion and the opinion of the city that this roof cannot be repaired and must be replaced as a whole. And for that reason, we're asking for coverage to be opened to a full roof replacement. Thank you so much. Have a great day.